Hey guys, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Miraculous again. So in this episode, we are going to be looking through Season 1 and Season 2 of Miraculous to discuss about which episodes could have gotten an accidental reveal. Basically, what we're going to be looking at is a whole bunch of how other people could have seen it, and how other people could have realized, oh, Ladybug and Cat Noir are Marinette and Adrian. Now, I'm not going to take into consideration a few things. Like, one, I am not going to be taking into consideration the fact that it's actually very likely that that Gabriel has put cameras into Adrian's room after Simon Says, so I will not be counting that one. However, I will be counting everything else that could have been a reveal. So, yeah, let's get started with the first two episodes chronologically, because that's actually kind of important. So, in this episode, there isn't much. The thing is that only a few things really show the whole, hey, yeah, I'm Ladybug and Cat Noir, which is actually kind of funny because it's a pretty big mistake on Marinette's part. At the very beginning, well, not at the very beginning, in Ladybug and Cat Noir, Ladybug refers to Ivan as Ivan and Alya as Alya. Now, this is a big important thing because they actually reference this. They actually talk about this a little bit, where Ivan asks, "How do you know my name, miss?" And she doesn't respond because Alya interrupts her. Now, this is pretty important because the fact that Alya didn't really think about it either is the issue. In the episode, Alya says something along the lines of, Alya gets called by as Alya in that episode. Basically, what happens is Marinette calls out to her to start the water so that they can escape, and she does. But she doesn't think about it. What's important to note is that only really of teenagers, specifically, because they are teenagers, they look like teenagers, only really Marinette knows who Alya is, because of the fact that she is, one, she's in the same school, and two, she's currently Alya's only friend. Only one. So, yeah, that was pretty big. And Ivan also kind of confused about it. Those two things should be more of a cue to Alya than to Ivan, because there are a few people who know his name, most of which are in his class, but there's still a few other people that know his name, so it is possible that that could be someone else. Now, in Stoneheart, Marinette throws out a lot of hints towards Alya, basically saying, wouldn't you want to be a hero instead? Now, and take this, because she doesn't want to be Marinette, she doesn't want to be Ladybug anymore. She wants Alya to be Ladybug. But, yeah, but because of that, she doesn't really get very far, but, oh well. She also transforms in the middle of the street, which at that time only really Alya should be able to see her, but even still, it should have been a very easy reveal. But that's Stoneheart. Let's move on to Bubbler. Bubbler, the only real issue is that Adrian runs off right before Cat Noir shows up, and Ladybug detransforms and retransforms right in front of, well, not right in front of, but close enough that someone could have very easily noticed. So, yeah. And that's really it for Bubbler, sadly. Next up is Mr. Pigeon. Basically, the only thing there is that they should have realized, Marinette should have realized the whole thing about Cat Noir being allergic to feathers, and realized that he was Cat Noir. That's really the only thing there. Obviously, they don't, throughout a lot of these episodes, they do transform in front of people and stuff, and that's kind of it. Stormy Weather, there's not really anything important except for the fact that she knows Minot's name, which she brushes off by saying that Marinette told her, but that's about it. Next is Timebreaker. In Timebreaker, Marinette and Ladybug talk to each other about how they are each other. And nobody notices this, even though they're kind of out in the open. And yeah, it's an interesting thing, and it's pretty important, but that's about it. She also detransforms in front of, kind of close to her friends, and it's kind of surprising. Again, I'm not going to go over every single time that she transforms in front of people. Copycat, not really anything. Not really anything to write home about, anyways. Pharaoh. In Pharaoh, there's a lot of stuff that happens, and it's actually a pretty close thing to Alia realizing that, yeah, Marinette is very likely, is very, very, very likely to be Ladybug, but it doesn't actually happen. There's no real thing in Lady Wi-Fi, mostly because of the fact that the only thing of note is that Marinette detransforms in a closet. That's important. She detransforms in a closet in a hotel room. In a hotel. Now, hotels do not have cameras in rooms, but they do very often have cameras in lobbies. If for some reason they don't have cameras in the lobby, then that's weird. You really do want to have a lot of cameras in the lobby, especially for a very good place like the Bourgeois hotel. It's very fancy and all that jazz. So if there aren't, then it's kind of shocking. Basically, the only person who would actually kind of know is security and maybe Mr. Bourgeois, but that's about it. So, yeah. Evil Illustrator, really the only... Cat Noir should know her identity, and maybe Nathaniel, because of the fact that he... Ladybug only shows up when Marinette's not around and stuff like that, but it's not something super obvious. Cat Noir should be the one who's a little bit more suspicious because of the fact that, oh, yeah, then, okay, so Chloe is safe, obviously, but what about, so why aren't you helping, Ladybug? You should be, she says she has to do something else, and she never goes over it, so it should have been a cue to Cat Noir, but it doesn't cue him. That's basically the only one that isn't there. Roger Cup, there's nothing really, so nothing to write home about. Dark Cupid, again, nothing of note. Horrificator. This is a big one. Well, yes, they do a lot of stuff to keep their identities safe. The thing is that the school was locked off, meaning that the only people that Ladybug and Cat Noir could be is one of the students who was captured. And they actually make a point of this, being like, oh, there's no slime near here. This is weird. And, yeah. And that's the other thing. The only people in the school is the class, because they're working on their video. So, that should have given them a huge hint, because, and not only that, when they finally revert everything back to normal, Marinette and Adrien, not there. No one really notices it, but it's kind of a big thing. Basically, the entire class should know, and probably also Mr. Damocles. So, oh well, that was kind of important. Dark Blade. This one could have been better. Luckily, she doesn't get no one gets her diary. But they do run off during the battle, which, yeah, they do say that they got turned into a knight. But here's the other thing. Not very many people make puns. And this is an important thing. Not very many people make puns. But Adrien did, right after he became a knight. Or said he became a knight. He said, "What a nightmare," which he very directly says that it shows that it's a pun. And Cat Noir is known for making puns, so it's not necessarily something that is something big to write home about, but it's definitely something that would put him on the radar, especially with all of this other information. The mime. There's really nothing to write home about, so we're not gonna worry too much about that. Princess Fragrance. Again, not much to write home about except for the fact that Tiki was out in the open quite a bit, and Chloe had her, a lot of people had her. Yeah, she was still for a long time, and Marinette eventually got Tiki back, but that's really the only thing big to write home about. No one knows about Kwamis, but the thing is that if at any point Chloe or Alya looks back on this time, like obviously Alya doesn't necessarily know about it, but specifically Chloe, if Chloe looks back on this, she will realize, hey, that was a Kwami. Yeah, it wasn't moving, and it could very easily be a toy, but that looked like a Kwami. A ladybug Kwami. And since Marinette was looking for it the entire time, yeah, it's just something to think about, that Chloe would obviously have to look back at her at Princess during the events of Princess Fragrance. So, and that doesn't happen. So, oh well. Animan. They kind of appear change in the middle of nowhere. Simon Says. Gabriel notices things and is like, "Oh my gosh, that ring! You're definitely my son is definitely is absolutely definitely Cat Noir. Not necessarily confirmed, but it's definitely something to just think about." And yeah, the other thing is that Cat Noir acts very, very much like Adrien, getting very pissed off with his father about a lot of things, and that's really it. Pixelator, kind of an important thing to note about Pixelator is that he does talk to Plag in there for a little bit, and also Cat Noir never showed up until a certain number of them were freed. And yeah, it was that was basically it. Nothing to write home about. Guitar Villain, nothing to write home about. Let's be honest. I believe, that in Pixelator, right? Which one? One of those two. Marinette, Tiki is out in the open and someone sees it, and people are confused. But that's it. People saw it talking, people saw it moving, and they just glance over it, but that's about it. I don't remember which episode it was exactly, but yeah. 21. They are trapped. They are 100% trapped inside the hotel. Once again, that means that only the people who are in the hotel. Now, this does mean that it's a large amount of people. But being the fact that these are that Marinette and Adrian are there, they are trapped in there. Really, the only people who are actually there at the time are people who work at the hotel and guests, as well as Marinette and Adrian. That's it. And since they're all trapped in there, really, and the guests, instantly that cancels them all out. Workers, they're all adults, and we already know that everyone knows that it's definitely not Chloe, so there is that. So really, it should have been really freaking obvious to them that, yeah, this is Cat Noir and Alia, and Marinette. That's just, let's be honest, they should have realized. Gamer 2.0, really the only thing to know is that they were transformed in front of, in the middle of the place. Really, Max should know, but that's about it. They also use something that is Max's power, which I would have done something where he's actually scanning the people, but whatever. Reflecta, nothing of note. There really isn't anything of note. Puppeteer, again, this is actually kind of an important thing. The fact that Ladybug knows automatically what's going on right away is very shocking. Cat Noir obviously finds out through Marinette, but Ladybug just knows automatically that, oh yeah, these dolls, they're important. He doesn't tell her, he doesn't do anything, she just knows. That should have been a cue to him, but that's about the only thing that we should know. Antibug, she's saving the day out of costume. That's really it. And yeah, that's the only thing of note there. Volpina, mostly just Marinette being stupid. Really, she gets mad at Lila for saying that she's best friends with Ladybug, even though she knows that she's not. That should be a cue to everyone that, yeah, she's okay. If Marinette is mad about her saying that she's Ladybug, and then Ladybug then comes in later saying, yeah, we're not friends, we will never be friends. And there we go. That's it. That's really all that is important there. Next up, the Collector. Collector isn't super important. They do a few interesting things, but not much. It it's not that important. So yeah, they don't even transform in front of anybody. It looks like they're getting better. A lot of things look like they're getting better throughout this time. Prime Queen. Basically, the only thing that's really an issue is that Ladybug looks away on public television when they mention Marinette. That is a big thing. The fact that she is on public television and she turns away from the camera, from looking at Alya and Minot, it's very, very big. Despair Bear, nothing really. They just transform in the hotel again. Holy crap. The fact that they've transformed so many times in the hotel, it's really a question of how does the security guard not know, at least? Like, seriously. Usually there's cameras there. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Riposte. Really nothing of note. Just basically, yeah. Adrian is injured in one specific leg, disappears right around the same time that Cat Noir appears. Cat Noir has an injury on his leg. The exact same leg as Adrian. That's really the only issue. Really, only Marinette should notice, but she should notice, and she doesn't. But yeah. Bafana, nothing really. Let's be honest, there's nothing. There are a few moments where it's like, wait, how did she transform? The thing is that they do transform in front of people, and that's really it. Robustus, really the only thing that should be kind of here is that Robustus hacks into Gabriel's house. That's the only thing that's really important. He hacks into Gabriel's security system and aims weapons at Hawkmoth in his security system, which means that Robustus, or, well, Markov, should now know exactly who Hawkmoth is. Why he doesn't say to Ladybug and Cat Noir, hey, I know who Hawkmoth is. Here you go. Here's who he is. He's Gabriel Agreste. Yeah. Speaking of which, I should actually mention it in Collector. The whole thing about the fact that the book came from Gabriel, the fact that they are still not certain about it is an issue. But that's about it. Dark Owl. Why did they not? I'm surprised that neither of them opened their eyes. That's really it. Like, we've all probably seen the comic dub. I think it was by Phantom Sore or whatever. It might have been somebody else. I don't know who it was. Basically, Plague freaks out and says, "Oh, it's Marinette from class, Adrian," and reveals their identities. We all know that we wanted that to happen. It didn't. Get over it. That's really the only thing. Gigantitan. Really the only issue is that she's helpful. They're helpful. That's it. They transform and de-transform kind of in public. That's it. Nothing important. Glaciator. Oh, that episode. Honestly, that episode's just sad. Like, they don't even, there's no real problems here. It's just like Marinette is like really impressed But the thing is that Ladybug, when she sees the thing, she kind of does. She pretends to be surprised, but it's clear that she's seen it before. Is the thing. It's kind of important. Like, honestly, here's the thing. If you see something that somebody put a lot of hard work into, and to impress you, and you say nothing, just like, oh, this is nice, or that's basically what she said. It's not exactly, but it is similar. Then it's weird. The thing is that she actually does decent reacting as Marinette, and if it was her first time seeing it as Ladybug, then she would have at least acted somewhat similar. She wouldn't act exactly the same, but she would act similar. And also, tell, if Marinette told Adrien that she likes him, that she likes, if she told Cat Noir that she likes Adrien, they would reveal their identities. Let's be honest. At that point, Cat Noir is so in love with Ladybug that if she at any moment said, I am in love with Adrien Agreste, he would de-transform that second. That's really the only issue. Sapides, since it is the first time that anyone has been chosen, it should instantly cue Alia to realize this is Marinette, especially since just a few moments before, Marinette specifically states, if I was Ladybug, I wouldn't tell you. That's the thing. Who do you select when you're trying to find a hero? Two things will instantly pop to mind. One, someone who is fighting, who is still fighting to stop the villains even though they don't have powers, which, one, she checks off, and two, someone you know very well. Especially for the first hero, almost everyone picks their first friend, picks their best friend as the first person that they would choose. The thing is that she actually hovers over the comb for a bit, and it's kind of and I actually thought kind of that, oh, maybe she would probably. A lot of people said, oh, maybe she's thinking of Chloe, even since we got the reveal a little bit earlier. What I was thinking at first was, she's thinking of Adrien, but she gives. She chooses the Fox Miraculous, gives it to Alia. We're moving on. The gorilla, really just the fact that, really, if you guys even got a close look, then you would realize that Adrien is Cat Noir. So, yeah, just like, why is he wearing the helmet and all that jazz? Everyone would have realized it. And Wayham should have also realized it at that moment that, oh, yeah, he's Hawkmoth. But, I don't know. It's weird. Captain Hardrock. Definitely an interesting episode. Basically, the only person who should be realizing it now is Luca. And yeah, that's basically it. Luca should have been like, oh, she vanished. And then, yeah. It's an odd episode. Season 2, Part 2. Let's continue. Holy cow. Frightening Gale. It's weird how they freak out. They say, oh, if anyone saw me with this mask, then they would realize that that I'm Ladybug and I'm Cat Noir, and they don't. So we obviously don't get it, which I'm kind of curious if if people would realize it if they were wearing the mask, but I don't know. The real issue here, though, is that Adrian doesn't wear the mask. The guy who finds it would realize that, should know at least, that Adrian had the mask when he went in. And the same goes for Marinette. The fact that it's put underneath some blankets and stuff, or other clothes, should have been the cue. I was actually kind of curious. I've looked back at it a few times to see exactly what happens, to see if they put their masks in the same place, but they don't. So that's kind of important, that at least the security guard or the person who's looking for the costumes doesn't realize it. That's weird. That they just didn't want to wear the masks, and everyone should have realized that they don't want to wear the masks and stuff. But yeah. But here's the other thing. Marinette only is very reluctant to play Ladybug. And when she finally is thrown over the edge is when Chloe dresses up like Ladybug and starts to give her a bad name. That should have been huge. She specifically says, if I was Ladybug, I wouldn't want someone like Chloe to play me. And then she chooses right away, I want to be Ladybug. And yeah. Now, in that episode, Hawkmoth says that it would have been good for for Adrian to be Cat Noir and Marinette to be Ladybug in this. Basically, he's testing to see if absolutely, yeah, they actually are. That's who it is. That's all that episode is about. So, yeah. Siren. Marinette runs off. It's a weird thing that Marinette gets into a trash can and starts swimming off. That's really the only issue. And yeah, nothing else really. Zombie Zoo. That one is actually kind of an interesting point. If you guys don't know, if you guys didn't realize, everyone got pinkish eyes when they went under Zombie Zoo's spell. The thing is that Marinette was looking straight in to Adrian's face. She would have seen for that brief second when he had his eyes open that he did not have pink eyes. It should have clicked, maybe not then, but later, that, wait a minute, he didn't have pink eyes there. He wasn't actually changed. And yeah, which is kind of a big thing. If he wasn't changed, why did he pretend to be changed? Oh, wait, it's because of the fact that he was frickin' Ladybug. He was frickin' Cat Noir. And Frozer. Nothing to write home about. They transform hidden. They don't really talk too much about the whole identities and stuff. They're like, oh, yeah, I want to show you my identity and stuff like that, for Cat Noir at least. But it doesn't actually happen. So, yeah, there's nothing. Next up, Style Queen. Seriously, why are these in such a weird order? Style Queen, really the only thing is that he lost his miraculous. That's what you're going with? Like, honestly, if he lost his miraculous, what? That's what you're going with? You're gonna tell her he lost his miraculous, then come back the next episode chronologically and say, yeah, he didn't actually lose his miraculous. He's back. He's back. There's no explanation for it, but he's back. Like, honestly, that should have been at least a clue. It should have been like, oh, yeah, he was probably someone who got goldified. Oh, wait, big one that got goldified, Adrian. I don't know. It was a weird freaking episode to just think about. I don't know. Next up, Troublemaker. Definitely an interesting episode. Basically, yeah. I'm still thinking that Cat Noir saw. Part of me still thinks that he saw her, at least briefly. It would have been good. It would have been a good way of him seeing her identity and stuff. Obviously, he didn't. But the whole thing about just Marinette freaking out every time, both as Ladybug and as Marinette, that, yeah, don't look at my room, don't look at this stuff. And, like, honestly, it's just a weird situation in general. It should have cued a lot of people. That anyone who was able to see that should have been like, oh, yeah, she's Marinette. Like, honestly, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. Obviously, Adrian's an idiot. Queen Wasp. Let's move on. So Queen Wasp, interesting episode. Really, the only thing that's really important here is that they both freak out, and they actually look directly at each other. At the second they cover their mouths. No, don't. As they're doing that, they both look at each other, realizing that it sounds like for a brief moment that they both realize what's going on, and that they don't necessarily know. It's weird that they don't know each other's identities at that moment. Just like, oh yeah, we both know that that is a Kwame, and that's revealing that you are frickin' Queen Bee. It's weird. It's a weird frickin' scene that they don't realize at that moment. Oh yeah, you're Ladybug and you're Cat Noir. Not necessarily, and probably Chloe should have thought back. If Chloe had thought back to before at this moment, then she would have realized, oh yeah, oh wait, my worst enemy is my favorite hero. Whoopsie. I don't know. Reverser. This one's kind of important. So in Reverser, we know that that Alex asks about Marinette. Why aren't we getting Marinette? He wants Marinette. And they just brush over it. They don't say anything about it, and it's just like, I don't know. And yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, oh yeah, what about Marinette? Oh yeah, we're not getting her. Why? Because of the fact that you are Ladybug. That's literally it. It's just like, Marinette is Ladybug. You should have gotten cued at that moment. Especially Alex, because she's the most level-headed of them all. She should have just been like, oh, yeah, you're Ladybug. That's obvious. Anansi. Really, only thing there is that Adrian pretends to lose his connection there, and Nino's whole fiasco. Everyone, that's the thing. that is probably the biggest cue. Just like, why has Marinette and Adrien not realized who each other are? And all these things. Because literally all that Nino has to do in order for Alya to realize that he is Carapace is say, yeah, gotcha, dude. I mean, Ladybug. That instantly clues her into realizing that, yeah, he's Carapace. There we go. There's your identity proven. Cool. That should be like everyone should realize this now. And so that's the other thing. I said before in about Sapides is that you choose your friend and you choose someone who's fighting. And that's the thing. Nino was going to be fighting anyways, no matter what was going to go on. He was going to continue to fight. That's kind of the thing. Why it's different it's a different situation for him versus Alya, because for Alya's case, she didn't necessarily need to choose anyone. We've already seen that Alya has been selected before, but for this situation, there's really no other option except for Nino. Nino is the only option that she can select from at this time to get Carapace. That's it. So, I don't know. That's just a kind of thing to return back to the whole thing. So, it's kind of a big point, but moving on. Maledictator. There's really no reveals here. Just like, Alya getting pissy. Like, obviously, Marinette knows that she is Rena Rouge, but the thing is that nobody else does. So it should have at least clued Adrien into being like, wait, you're Rena Rouge. Whoopsie, you just revealed your identity. That's the only thing of note there. Sandboy. Nothing to write home about, actually. That's really it. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. So, as far as I'm aware, because the whole, obviously, the evil version of Adrien saw her transform, but he's not real, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's the only issue. So, whatever. Catalyst. Nothing actually. That's pretty big. Basically, just yeah, they're not worried and stuff like that. They're just like, we know how to deal with this. Us 5, who, yes, we have been akumatized. Marinette and Adrien, they're just like, wait, that's confusing. We didn't do that stuff. That should have been like the clue. Like they were confused. Oh, wait, this means a villain attack. And yeah, but for the others, it's just like, oh, yeah, wait, they're saying to stand up and fight. Huh, interesting. And then basically only only a few people don't become akumatized, and yeah. And it just so happens to be those 5 and those 5 only from the schools that are just fighting back, and it's weird. It's an odd thing. Nobody really realizes it, but people should have been like, wait, yeah, Marinette, Adrien, yeah, they're freaking out and stuff. And it's kind of the same situation with Zombie Zoo, because Marinette, it's like, don't let negative emotions get control of you. and that's really it. So, yeah, I don't know. Mayura. I'm surprised that none of the villains saw them transform. That's really it. Um, like, yeah, that's it. The only I do have to say one thing about that whole situation though is Adrian, you're stupid. Holy shite. Like, seriously, why did Adrian not realize at that moment that Marinette loved him? That was it. That's the only really big thing that's always on my mind when I'm talking about Megara. But yeah, I don't know. But anyways, guys, that is season 1 and season 2. Every moment when somebody should have realized, hey, that person is Marinette or Adrian or basically any of the other versions of like, hey, yeah, this person's them. Here's the reveal. Like, honestly, it's kind of stupid. There are more. There are more things that we've already seen reveals. Like, holy cow, season 3 is reveal central. Holy crap! Why? If they don't realize by the end of this season that, yeah, they are. Hey, Marinette is Ladybug and Adrian is Cat Noir. If they don't realize that by the end of this season, then I'm just gonna be like, how? There's been all this information in season 1 and season 2 alone, like, I don't know, and yet you still don't know this. I don't know. I've said before, and I'll say it again. Gabriel knows. He is smart. He has figured out. Oh yeah, you're my son. You're Cat Noir. Now, as a smart person, he doesn't reveal that he is Hawkmoth by taking away his miraculous. A lot of people have gotten on my case about this. Hawkmoth knows. Period. So, yeah. If he doesn't, the fact that he has said multiple times that, yeah, he's done a lot of tests to see. Oh yeah, are you actually Cat Noir? No, I'll check again later. Like, honestly, the fact that if he doesn't know, it's kind of annoying. Like, yeah, I'm gonna put like, if he takes here's the thing. He cannot take away Adrian's miraculous for a few reasons. Specifically, one, he knows that if he were to take away Adrian's miraculous, it would instantly tell Adrian he's Hawkmoth. Because there's absolutely no reason why why his father would take away his ring. There's no reason at all. Like, unless he's realized that he thinks that his father is actually caring about him and is saying, I don't want you to be Cat Noir anymore. He says something like, I don't know, I've done some looking, and I believe that you are Cat Noir. I don't want you risking your life anymore. Try and find somebody else to be Cat Noir. That would be a reasonable thing for him to say. If he says that, he's not saying that he is Hawkmoth. He's saying that he cares about his son and he doesn't want him to get hurt. That will, while it may be something like Adrian will not give the miraculous to anyone, but now he has to figure out something new. He has to do something to keep his father safe, is what he's going to be thinking, which will mean that he is going to be completely oblivious to the fact that Gabriel is Hawkmoth. Like, honestly, yeah, if he were to just say, give me your ring, just straight up, no questions asked, just give me your ring, it should instantly cue Adrian to think, oh, he's Hawkmoth. But him confronting Adrian with the answer, you are Cat Noir, which he knows. If we're gonna see anything interesting like this, then he would have to say something along the lines of, "You are Cat Noir. I've realized this. I have looked at all of the facts. You are Cat Noir. I want you to give your miraculous to somebody else. I do not want you fighting out there, fighting Hawkmoth. It's too dangerous. I can't lose you like I lost your mother." And it that would be very important, because one, it's making Adrian uncertain of things. It's keeping, like I said, it's making Hawkmoth not look like he's Hawkmoth. I do not think that Adrian will give up the miraculous. Let me just be clear on that. But he could at least be understanding of his father and stuff like that. And if Hawkmoth does reveal his identity to his son before too long, then he would instantly, then what he should do is first the whole thing, like, I know you're Cat Noir, I want you to give up your miraculous. That whole spiel should come first, if he's smart. Then, afterwards, he will go into, he will say, son, I am Hawkmoth. I am trying to save your mother. I'm asking you to give up your miraculous to somebody else because I don't want to hurt you. If you will not give somebody else your miraculous, then I have to let you know that I am Hawkmoth, and I want your help to save your mother. Get me Ladybug's miraculous, telling him that it's Marinette, saying that, hey, also I'm pretty sure it's Marinette that is Ladybug, because he doesn't have as much information, but he does seem to think that Marinette is Ladybug due to Frightening Gale. But he would then say something along the lines of, yeah, I understand, but this would make him feel more human. It would make Hawkmoth feel human to Adrian, which would then mean that he is less likely to want to fight him, meaning that he's uncertain of things, which means that he may do a few different things. He may run away. He may join Hawkmoth temporarily, which, yeah, that's a terrifying concept, but I don't think it's going to happen, but it's definitely something to just keep in mind. If any of this happens, though, it would be in Season 4 or Season 5. We know I've said before that I'm pretty sure that Season 5 will be the final season of this Hawkmoth series. But, yeah. But anyways, guys, that is every single hero, as well as a little bit of a theory on what could happen with Hawkmoth and Adrian once they really know that, yeah, you are Cat Noir. There we go. Boom, boom. Here we go. So yeah, if you guys liked this, or you have any other thoughts, anything else to add, make sure that you comment it down below. And I've read every comment. I comment on almost every single one. So you guys should know that. So yeah, and also if you enjoyed this, please don't forget to leave a like, and it tells me that I should keep making this stuff, which I love. And also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell, because that also tells me that you guys like this content and I can continue to make more. But anyways, guys, I have been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on!